Psalm 50. The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion, the perfection of beauty, God hath shined. Our God shall come, and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And the heavens shall declare his righteousness, for God is judge himself, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will speak, O Israel. And I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings, to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee. For the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked God saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldst take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, and thou consentedst with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders, GMS, who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scripture through faith in Yahweh by Shemal Shai. All right, now I want to get into the controversy of Apostle Paul, because that's the thing, it's the topic, all right, in which you have, these guys, from the Sakari, pretty much spewing madness, and these guys, and one thing, with these men dealing with Sakari, okay, is that they're smart guys, okay, but smart doesn't mean spiritual. And see, a lot of jakes, look at these men and how they're able to put words together, how they're able to put precepts together, how they're able to, debate, make people, look silly, when they look at that, it's pretty much, it's because it's a show and dance with the precepts. Okay. And these men, all right, have pretty much have a platform where they can build themselves up. You know, they have built themselves up to, these characters in Israel. Okay, these pretty much these icons, in Israel, and pride, is taking over to where now they're just saying and doing, anything. Okay, to save face when it comes to their ego, when it comes to their pride, when it comes to them doing what they want to do. That's a hell of a pride on you to want to counsel out, an apostle and his writings and his epistles, just so you can forward your agenda, but still use those epistles when it's all right, beneficial to your agenda, your narrative, man. Okay. So, these guys, they do these things. And like I say, a lot of people confuse being smart, okay, with being spiritual. Okay. But that's not the case. Now, I'm going to play that video, which I know most of you brothers and sisters have seen the video, but I'm going to play this from the elder Manata Zakba, the video he did. All right. I'm play the beginning of it, in which the responses that you see dealing with Apostle Paul stem from this video. So I'm gonna let it play. And then we're gonna get into the precepts, man. And just understanding these things. All right, let's get into. So I'm gonna play it. Yeah, I'm gonna let it play.
Sakari thinks he stands in judgment over Paul. Look at these messages back and forth. Is Paul valid? Does he have authority over the 12? Should we use his teachings today? Prove his writings are God-breathed and prove they are relevant in today's time. Prove his authority. He wants to debate, is Paul on trial? Look at that. His general teachings, his views of the church and doctrine. And to be honest about the debate, I think certain topics you guys at a stalemate because Paul seems to contradict himself. He says he has a list of 82 times Paul's irreconcilable.
I got 82 verses. We just went over this in Sakari Varsity. I got 82 verses for a Hebrew Israelite, specifically for a Hebrew Israelite. I got 82 verses that we could go through, and I would like from Paul, and I would like you to explain all of them. I got 82 shots. I got the drum roll. If somebody want to get with me privately, you can do that too, and I'll give you a chance to try to reconcile all of them. Is that what Paul is saying? I'll be the first to tell you guys. Me and Alizar will be the first to tell you guys. He didn't have full understanding here or there.
So every
Yeah, so you heard it. So pretty much, they're pretty much they're bucking up against the authority, given to the Apostle Paul. They're pretty much rebellion. And this is all this is, a rebellion. Ultimately it's a rebellion against Yahweh Shai. Because Jacob tried to make it seem if they're cool with Yahweh Shai, but then try to undo the order that Yahweh Shai established in the earth. Okay? Because it's simple, it's a hierarchy, man. The men, all right, that the Lord, all right, chose to teach this word, all right, they have a particular authority. Apostle Peter had his authority, all right. All the apostles, they had their authority. Apostle Paul, he had his order, okay. And when you start going against, see, Jake think they can go against the order of particular men and still be in good standings with Yahweh Shai. Nah, it don't work like that, okay. So let's get some precepts. All right, then we're going to go into Apostle Paul, man. Because Apostle Paul had a heavy portion of the Spirit. And it's something that, Jake go against the Apostle. Jake don't go against Jude. Jake go against Apostle Paul, a man that the Lord used for many great works, man. Okay? Which everything is relevant no matter how short the book is or how, much labor that you have recorded. All the works are vital, because there's men that took the time to translate certain precepts. To translate the scrolls, okay, back into the Hebrew, okay. There's certain men that certain Israelite men that was able to record. Because you go to the book of Sirach, it's pretty much a collection of wisdom. That was the man Sirach, okay, the one that started to collect those writings and Proverbs, and, going to the history. Hey, there was labor doing that, man. See, Jake has no reverence for the labor of our forefathers, man. Okay, and this is why, and see, this is nigga culture. Nigga culture is all about everyone trying to be that nigga. Everyone trying to be the man. Okay, to where they'll try to cancel out, others men's greatness, okay, to exalt themselves, man. And this is all niggas are doing, man. This is all Jake is doing. So this Proverbs 26:12 says, "Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him." And these men are wise in their own conceit. Okay, see, being popular and getting all this praise and being on these platforms and getting all this notoriety, they can be dangerous to a man. Okay, especially men that they're not guys that aren't used to having that type of clout, and so pretty much. And then Jake will boost you up to make you seem like you're more than what you are. The people that watch, okay, no one is checking them. Everyone is pretty much going along with what they're saying. That's a very dangerous situation to be in, man. Okay, when you're not being corrected, when you're just allowed to go for what you know, man. Okay, but these are men that are wise in their own conceit. Okay, and it said there is more hope of a fool than of him. Yeah, someone who doesn't know these big words and got all these platforms. Okay, a Jake that really just don't know too much. It's a better chance for those men to make it in than guys like that, because they're wise in their own conceit. Okay, and they're blinded by pride. All right, they're blinded, okay, by pride, man. All right, so let's go here, man. Let's deal with the Apostle Paul. Okay, because this is nothing new. Apostle Paul was always controversial, man, because Apostle Paul, he was direct, and he would always be stopping the madness. Okay, the Apostle Paul was always controversial, man. And then Apostle Paul had a unique office. Okay, let's get this in Romans 11, which was to the Gentiles. So that their ruffled feathers with the circumcision, okay, because he was teaching salvation and the promises, okay, to the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, okay, who were living after the custom of the heathen. Okay, and a lot of people thought Apostle Paul was teaching against the law. Nah, and he had to explain. Paul would always have to explain, like, nah, and he would go into the prophecy, okay, to why he's doing what he's doing. He was in the spirit. The Apostle Paul was in the spirit. Okay, now let's go here. And that's why Apostle Paul knew when niggas couldn't get it. This is the book of Romans 11:7. It says, "What then? Israel have not attained that which is seeking for, but the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded." See, Apostle Paul knew that everybody wasn't going to get it. Okay, he understood that it was certain Israelites that the Lord had in the slumber, according to what? Scripture. It says, "According as it is written, the Most High had given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this day. And David said, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them." So you will have the circumcision going against the Apostle Paul, but the Apostle Paul was going into precepts. And all he had was the Old Testament, the Torah, the law. The Apostle Paul, he was going into those things and explaining, okay, the doctrine, explaining his reasoning in Scripture, man. Okay, so he's going into precepts, which is this Psalm 68. I want to say 69. All right. Well, he knows that, look, Jake, the scriptures are a stumbling block to a lot of our people, man. Okay. And see, as Yahushua is a stumbling block, his men are stumbling blocks as well. Okay. And it says, let their eyes be darkened, that they may not see, and bow down their neck always. I say then, have they stumbled that they shall fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, for to provoke them to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them be the riches of the world, okay, which is the fall of the circumcision that then believe, be the riches, okay, to the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners that did believe, and the diminishing of them, the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness. For I speak unto you in as much as I am apostle. Okay, an apostle means what? To be sent forth. Okay, so he was sent forth into what? The Gentiles. I magnify my office, and that's what Apostle Paul was doing. He was magnifying his office as the apostle of the Gentiles. Okay, so when you go to magnify, all right, why we seen Apostle Paul abounded in the word, okay? But it was controversial because the circumcision didn't want to accept, okay, the Gentiles coming back in, but it was already set up that eventually, okay, the Gentiles, okay, the Israelite foreigners, they will have a way back, okay? So you get this word magnify. Let's get it, all right? And it says in the Greek, let me see.
Strong's G 1392, doxazo.
Doxazo. Okay. It says to praise, to extol, to magnify. Okay. It says to make renown. Okay. To impart glory to something, to render it excellent. And Apostle Paul did that, man. He made his office renowned. Like everyone, like Paul has a global reputation for his ministry, man, to this day. The Apostle Paul has a global reputation for his ministry, and the Lord put the Spirit on him, all right, to have the ministry that he had, man, to be such an impactful part of the ministry, man. The Lord, set Apostle Paul up, man. Okay? Let's say, book of, this is, let me see. All right, yep. It's the book of Acts chapter 9. These things been coming out. We just gonna roll. This book of Acts 9, chapter 9. Yeah, this is book of Acts chapter 9, verse 11. It says, and the Lord said unto him, arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas for one called Saul of Tarsus, for behold, he prayeth, and he have seen in a vision a man named Ananias coming in and putting his hand on him that he might receive his sight. So this is when Paul, was pretty much persecuting the church, and then he was on the way to Damascus, and he was knocked off his horse by who? Yahushua. Okay? Yahushua talked to Apostle Paul and let him know. Okay, Yahushua put Apostle Paul on the straight path himself. Good grief, man. Why is this even a topic, man? Okay? But you're gonna have, these men they say these things, and then they're gonna get cheerleaded by the fan base, because they don't have believers, they have a fan base. Okay? The people that follow those guys are followers of them. They're followers of Deacon Hakah and Alizé. Okay? Alazar. That's who they follow. So that's why they can say anything, and no one is going to check them, and no one is going to cross-reference them through the scriptures, man. Okay? So it says, then Ananias answered, Lord, I have heard by many of this man how much evil he have done to the saints at Jerusalem. And he had authority from chief priests to bind all that call on thy name. But the Lord said unto him, go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me to bear my name before the Gentiles. See that? The Israelite foreigners. So the Apostle Paul understood his office. Okay? He didn't create his own office. No, the Lord established Apostle Paul within that office before the Gentiles, the kings, and the children of Israel. Okay? You see that? So Apostle Paul had a very heavy role, okay, within the ministry. And it was given to him by Yahushua. That's why Apostle Paul had this particular spirit on the man, and he understood that. Okay? Jake tripping. You see? Tripping. That's why Apostle Paul, when he would write these things, okay? Let's go here, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 16. It said, "For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glory of, for necessity," okay, a requirement is laid upon me. Yeah, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. So the Apostle Paul, wasn't preaching, all right, for vainglory. He knew, okay, what was required of him. He understood. Yahushua supped with him. Okay? Yahushua was dealing with Apostle Paul on a high level. And even the way Apostle Paul was raised, him being a Roman citizen, but also coming up, all right, as a Pharisee. Okay? He had a very unique skill set, okay, that the Lord, all right, utilized him for this heavy office, man. Okay? Paul was able to talk to the nobility of the Romans, and he was able to get down, okay, with the lawyers and Pharisees in the law. Okay, he was able to talk both languages, the Greek and the Hebrew. Okay, he had a very unique skill set, all right, that the Lord built him up in for his office, man. Good grief. It said, "For if I do this thing willingly, I have a reward. But if against my will, a dispensation of this gospel is committed unto me." So let's get this word dispensation. Okay, because Yahushua said he was a chosen vessel for the Gentiles, okay, into kings and into the children of Israel. Okay. All right, so you go dispensation in the Greek. All right.
Strong's G 3622. Oikonomia.
Economia.
Oikonomia.
That's where you get the word economy. Okay. It says the management of a household or household affairs, specifically the management, the oversight, the administration of others' property. And whose property, all right, was Apostle Paul had the oversight of, man. Okay. Yahushua, the Israelite foreigners. Okay. The office of a manager, of overseer, a stewardship. Okay. So the Apostle Paul's office was established by Yahushua. Okay? Yahushua set him up to be what? The overseer and the steward of the Lord's property. That's why you go here. You see? Come on, man. Good grief. But we're in them times, man, with Jake, their pride. Okay? Let me see. I think it's 1 Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians. All right. Chapter let me see. It might be 2 Corinthians. And Jake wanted to counsel out Paul just to wear a hat, man. Okay? A goddamn hat, man. Jake just counseled out the whole, the whole body of work that Yahweh Shema Shai used. Okay? All right. Oh, boy. All right, this is 2 Corinthians 11:2. It says, "For I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband." See, the Apostle Paul wasn't trying to heat disciples of Paul. Okay, he was espousing or joining the church to Yahushua. That's why his main focus was teaching Yahushua. Okay, he didn't want to beat these Israelite foreigners over the head with the law. Okay? No, and then no Israelite could keep the law and hold up to the ordinance of the law and be blameless. Okay? So he established a foundation with the Israelite foreigners through Yahushua. Okay? Did he create controversy even amongst those that believe there was of the circumcision? Yes. But these things were ironed out. Okay? That's why he had the councils in Acts the 15th chapter. These things were ironed out. Okay? It said, "For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Yahushua HaMashiach." So the Apostle Paul, all right, he was an administrator or overseer, okay, of the church, okay, joining them into Yahushua, man, through teaching, okay. Verse 3 said, "But I fear least by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety." Okay, what does he get this story from? Genesis. The Apostle Paul is always referring back, okay, to the Old Testament, man. Like Apostle Paul is just doing his own thing. He was just out here freestyling. No, man. He was always referring back to, he was always using, all right, history, prophecy, and the law, okay, to make points. Okay? He was always doing that, man. It says, "But I fear least by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahushua." And see, with Jake, Yahushua not cool enough for niggas, man. The doctrine, you know, the order of the apostles. See, Jake is not popular enough for niggas, man. Jake want to be popular, man. Okay? And Jacob do away with whatever part of the Bible that goes against him feeding his own belly, man. You know, and that's a dangerous game. Now, let's go here. I'll say, because Apostle Paul wasn't new to controversy, man. All right, let's go here, because you have three main groups of people that go against Paul. Okay, now the Christians agree with Paul, you know, when it comes to anything that they can use to try to make it seem like salvation is all exclusive. I mean, yeah, all inclusive with all the other nations. Like, matter of fact, let's get that. Let's explain these things. Okay, as we go. So, a Christian to go here to Galatians 3 and 28, and they make a doctrine off this scripture. Galatians 3 and 28 said, "There is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Yahushua HaMashiach." Okay, now they'll use this to include all nations and everyone in salvation and in the covenant. Okay, no, it's not what the Apostle Paul was speaking of. All right, first you have to understand how the Greek Empire had an effect, all right, on Israel. Okay, that's why there was an office created for the Israelite foreigners to reel them back into the fold, but they was all Israelites, okay, who was Hellenized by what people? The Greeks. Okay, so you can read that on surface level, and you can make a doctrine, okay, all nations being able to be saved, okay, or to be part of the covenant. But if you read one verse down, all right, and if you be Yahushua, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, because it was through Yahushua, okay, that the promise of Abraham, all right, to the nation of Israel, okay, was being reaffirmed. Okay, remember the promise. So who is the promise to? Okay, because you would have to be an Israelite to even qualify for the promise. Okay, to be delivered and go straight into the promises of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, which is world dominion, immortality. Okay, favor with the Most High, chosen. Okay, you have to be an Israelite to even qualify for that. All right, but the Israelites that believe, okay, Those are the Israelites that the Lord has set up and predestined for salvation and for the promises, man, to be first partakers of the promises. Now, let's show you how the Apostle Paul writings line up with all the things written. This is Luke. All right, this is Luke 1:68. Now, Apostle Paul was pushing who? Yahweh Shai. Is the way back to the promises. Okay, Luke 1:68. Blessed be the Lord, power of Israel, for he hath visited and redeemed his people, and have raised up the horn of salvation for us in the house of his servant David. Okay, so the Apostle Paul was teaching, okay, Yahweh Shai. Okay, he was teaching that he would, he would come through that lineage of David. Okay, so Apostle Paul was on point. It says, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers and remember his holy covenant. So the Apostle Paul spoke about what? The promise. Okay? And it was only promised to one lineage of people, man. That was Israel, man. The sons of God. It said the oath which he swore unto our father Abraham. Okay? And that promise was for a particular lineage. Okay? Then the Apostle Paul know that Esau wasn't a part of it. All right, let's go here. Apostle Paul didn't contradict nothing, man. He was accurately on point in the spirit. Okay? This is Hebrews 12:16. It said, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, okay, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So why is he, going into Esau pretty much being rejected and selling his birthright? Okay? It said, for ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. Okay? So where is the Apostle Paul contradicting? Okay? He's referencing Old Testament. He's referencing Old Testament history, prophecy, okay, and the law when he's breaking these things down. Okay? Come on, man. But Christians are trying to use the Apostle Paul to include everyone. No, Apostle Paul didn't include everyone. Okay, what do you say here? Romans 9:13, it says, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. And he was referring to Malachi. Okay, why is the Apostle Paul knows that Esau is not chosen. Okay, so how could he open up salvation to all people, man, when he harps on Esau being rejected, being hated? Come on, but then with a Christian, here it is, Christians use Apostle Paul. Okay, everybody uses Apostle Paul until it conflicts with their false doctrine, man. Okay, or their false agenda. Because a Christian, okay, you all right, because you here it is, Christianity, they have women teachers. Okay, this is First Timothy 2:11 said, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach. Yeah, so you will hear that, and Christianity just act like you ain't even said it, but they'll go to Paul to try to include everyone in salvation. But then when you bring this out about women teaching, then it's like we not even, it's like that's not even being said. Okay. So yeah, everyone tries to, manipulate the Apostle Paul's writing, which his writings are divinely inspired from Yahweh Shem Al Shai. He said, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority of a man, but to be in silence. Okay? And then you have, you know, the nigga woman that find out she an Israelite, but she still wanna, be in a position of authority. They negate these things, man. And this was music to the ears of all the feminist Israelite women, man, to hear that the Apostle Paul, all right, is not valid. His writings are not valid, And then, so you have the Christians, all right, that negate certain writings of Paul, okay, but they use them, for their, for their, for their agenda, their false agenda. Then you have women, all right, these Israelite feminist women, they negate the Apostle Paul's writing about, a woman not being able to teach or having authority, but then they'll go into a bishop should have one wife. You see, who wrote that? So they'll reject him telling women not to teach, but then when it says a bishop having one wife, they use that to push, their agenda of control, man, to control men. Okay? And then you have these guys here who want to be popular and cute. They negate everything that goes against them being popular and cute. The long hair, the hats, okay? That they go against those things, all right? But they'll use the Corinthians to tell a woman that she should be in order. Okay? So no, the Apostle Paul ain't contradiction. You niggas is contradiction, man. Okay, you Christians, all right? You popular niggas, okay? And then you feminist Israelite women, you contradict. The Apostle Paul didn't contradict nothing, man. The Spirit was on him, man. Okay? So let's go from there. So let's get this in Acts. Get this in the book of Acts. There's so much more, because the Apostle Paul, he has some heavy writings, man. But let's go here. All right, this ain't no. All right. Let's see. Okay, yeah, 19. Let's go here. All right, so you had this account, all right, with the Apostle Paul, because he was out here he was in the trenches, man, with these Israelite foreigners, man. So he was coming across paganism, and and these are all jakes, man. Okay, and Apostle Paul is very controversial, man, because he would always, all right, defend the gospel, all right, and push Yahushua wherever he was, man. He's Acts 19:24 said, for a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, all right, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain unto the craftsmen. Okay, so you had a silversmith that, pretty much making bank off shrines for Diana, which is nothing but one woman worship, Queen of Heaven. Okay, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation and said, sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. Moreover, you see and hear that not, all right, alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul had persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. And where is Apostle Paul getting this from, man? Okay? Apostle Paul is persuading Jake to turn away from idols to Yahushua, man. He said not just through Ephesus, but throughout all Asia. Apostle Paul had a screaming heavy office, man. You niggas is wicked for trying to negate the body of work of Apostle Paul, man. Niggas is wicked, but see, niggas is not nation-minded. Niggas is self-minded, man. And this gonna be cute. It's gonna be controversial and cute, okay? But see, it's gonna come a time, man, where it's gonna be a reckoning, man. You know? And it says, verse 27, so that not only, all right, reading on. And it says, so that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth. Okay? So they were like, look, this man is a problem. He's in the way of our agenda. You know? He's messing up the scheme we got going on. And see, Apostle Paul, his writings still do that with niggas today, man. It messed the scheme up. When you scheming and you off, you know, when you go into the scriptures, hey, the scriptures speak against madness, man, from all levels and all aspects, man. Okay, so you had these simp niggas like, man, you know, we gotta do something about this, man. You know? So this ain't nothing new, you know, Apostle Paul to be controversial. All right. He was in the trenches, man. It says that when they heard these things, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, great is Diana of Ephesus. And the whole city was filled with confusion, and having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater. And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not. Yeah, because Apostle Paul, he was like, see, I'm finna go defend the gospel. You know, the whole city saying, great is Diana Ephesus, man. Paul was like, nah, we finna push your house shot. Paul, he had the spirit of a warrior, spiritual warrior, man. Okay. It says, and certain of the chief of Asia, which were his friends, sent unto him, desiring him that he would not adventure himself into the theater. Some therefore cried one thing and some another, for the assembly was confused. All right. And the more part, all right, knew not wherefore they will come together. So it was just confusion, just like you have over there. Okay, with Sakara's confusion on the surface level, you know, like damn, they deep, they intelligent, they smart, they quick on the draw with the precepts. They couldn't, they making people look silly, but ultimately, they have a lot of confusion when you really go into what these guys believe. They don't believe in immortality. Okay, I think it was a 1,000-year life cycle, some silly shit. Okay, they said that the word of God is in the Bible, but the Bible is not the word of God. Okay, Apostle Paul isn't valid. You know, he isn't divinely inspired. There's a lot of confusion. It's gonna get more and more confusion, man. Okay, Sakari is nothing but a pretty much, you know, you have Alazar and Deacon Akah, and everyone else is just there for the pelt rally. Okay, everyone else is just there for the pelt rally, man. And it's pretty much just a Sakari pelt rally. Okay, so yeah, man. We read on, it says, and they drew Alexander out of the multitude, the Jews putting him forward, and Alexander beckoned with his hand and would have made his defense unto the people. But when they know that he was a Jew, all with one voice about the space of 2 hours cried out, great is Diana of Ephesus, man. Okay? And why was they doing that, man? They were trying to combat what the Apostle Paul was doing on the right-hand side, man, and teaching his word. Let's go here to the previous chapter. Okay, I want to get this in NLT. This is Acts 18. Okay, this is Acts 18, and I started 6. I started at 1. It said, then Paul left Athens and went to Corinth. There he became acquainted with a Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, who had recently arrived from Italy with his wife Priscilla. They had left Italy when Claudius Caesar deported all Jews from Rome. Paul lived and worked with them, for they were tent makers just as he was. Each Sabbath found Paul at the synagogue trying to convince the Jews and Greeks alike. And after Silas and Timothy came down from Macedonia, Paul spent all his time preaching the word. He testified to the Jews that Yahushua was the Messiah. But when they opposed and insulted him, Paul shook the dust from his clothes and said, your blood is upon you, all right, in your own heads. I am innocent. For now on, I will go preach to the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, because the circumcision didn't want to accept Yahushua. Okay, then he left and went to the home of Titius Justus, a Gentile who worshiped and lived next door to the synagogue. And see, the circumcision, hey, them niggas was corrupt. A lot of them niggas was corrupt. They was assholes. They was entitled, you know. But then you had the Israelite foreigner that would come in sincere, you know, charitable, okay, not high-minded. And the Apostle Paul was amongst them. He like, the hell with them niggas in the circumcision, man. That's why he said, well does say Isaiah, you know, having ears but hear not, and eyes and see not, man. You know, he was always cussing them niggas out with his precepts, man. Okay. He said, this is verse 8. He said, Crispus, the leader of the synagogue, and everyone in his household believed in the Lord. Many others in Corinth also heard Paul, all right, became believers and were baptized. One night the Lord spake to Paul in a vision and told him, don't be afraid, speak out, don't be silent. This is the Lord telling the Apostle Paul, okay, don't be afraid, speak out, don't be silent. That's why Apostle Paul was fearless, man. As you go into the next chapter, he's ready to go into the temple of Diana, man, in Ephesus, man. It said, for I am with you, and no one will attack and harm you, for many people in this city belong to me. So the Yahweh was like, look, I got believers here. Okay, I got sheep here. You keep doing what you doing. They ain't nobody gonna touch you, man. This is the Lord. This Yahweh making this vouch for Paul, man. God damn. You know? But a Taco Bell eating nigga, you know, is in a position to disannul, okay, the Apostle Paul, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know? And all you people that go for this shit, that's finna be part of the Sakari Pelt rally, have at it, man. You know, have at it with that nigga, man. You know? And it says, so Paul stayed there for the next year and a half teaching the word of the Most High. But when Gallio became governor of Achaia, some Jews rose up together against Paul and brought him before the governor, okay, for judgment. They accused Paul of persuading people to worship God in ways that are contrary to the law, okay? And this was their accusation, you know? Because when he was pushing Yahushua, he wasn't pushing them, all right, to keep the law perfectly. He did give them a standard, okay? So it says, but just as Paul started to make his defense, Gallio turned to Paul's accusers and said, listen, you Jews, if this were a case involving some wrongdoing or a serious crime, I would have a reason to accept your case. But since it is merely a question of words and names of your Jewish law, take care of it yourself. I refuse to judge such matters. And he threw them out of the courtroom, man. Okay? Even people that wasn't invested into the word, okay? He's just a Roman, I believe was a governor. Yeah, he was just a Roman governor. All right. And he was like, look, man, I ain't got time for these affairs. Y'all just got these little petty, you know, even people from the outside looking in knew that niggas was just being petty, man, when it came to Apostle Paul. So he was like, look, man, y'all niggas get out of here, man. Get out of my courtroom, man. You know? And this is what these niggas on today, but it don't. I got one more count, man. Okay, these niggas here, man. You know, and that's why when troops start getting rid of niggas, man, you know. So let's go here. All right, this is Acts 24:1. It says, and after 5 days and the nights, the high priest ascended with the elders and with a certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. And when he was called forth, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness. So you have this nigga kissing up, all right, to Felix, all right, being a goddamn coon, okay? Seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very worthy deeds are done unto this nation, okay, by thy province. We accept it always and in all peace, most noble Felix, with all thankfulness. Notwithstanding that I be no further tedious unto thee, I pray thee that thou wouldest hear us of thy clemency a few words. For we have found this pestilent fellow, speaking of Apostle Paul, a mover of sedition among the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarene, who also have gone about to profane the temple, whom we took and would have judged according to our law. Okay? So these niggas are complaining about Paul, man. This ain't nothing new. Everybody back in their lot, because Paul always will stop the party, man. And he would have them precepts on deck. Okay? He had that history on deck. He had prophecy on deck. And he'll bust up in the play. He just bust up in the motherfucker. All right? And you see, there was an uproar, man. But that's the spirit that the Lord put on him. Okay? The Lord say he was a chosen vessel for the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, okay, kings, which he was always amongst these nobles of the Romans. Niggas always accusing him. He was always being questioned and cross-examined, okay? And then the children of Israel, man, okay? The circumcision as well. So, yeah, man. And there's so much more, man. You know, Apostle Paul got a crazy body of work. You know, the Spirit allowed the Apostle Paul to have a crazy body of work, man. We could be here for another 4 hours, man. You know, just going to all the prophecy the Apostle Paul was going into, man. You know, the spirit that the Lord gave him. You know, but I'm in here, man. This is the book of Luke. Because Jake, you know, you can't, no, man. You can't just pick and decide what you agree with. No. This is Luke 10:16. Said, he that heareth you heareth me. And he that despises you despises me. And he that despises me despises him that sent me. So you reject any of the Lord's men, you reject the Lord. And if you reject the Lord, you reject the Most High, man. Okay? And this is all Jake doing. They're just trying to do it and be cute about it. Okay? Well, hey, you come to the time all this playing from the stop, man. Okay? Come on, man. All right? So, Lord will, you know, you brothers and you sisters edified till next time I say Shalom, Kwame Mashallah, Abba, Detail, soon, Shalom.